Spot's goal is to just take everything from Miles Morales. Honestly, the way he was moving, it was nothing that was going to stop him. Hey, welcome back for a chat and grab a snack. It's your girl Leah. I am literally fresh, hot out the movie theater of Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse, and I'm here to give you the inside scoop of everything that I experienced. Usually I do like a mini review of the whole movie, but I think I'm just gonna go over some of the characters and themes that were mentioned in this film and leave the rest to you, because this is nothing like anything you've seen so far in movie theaters. Let's just say once everyone sees what they have in store for this movie, people will have their opinions. Before I kind of dive into all the new characters and some of the old characters we got to see in this movie, I want to talk about the overall theme that I got, which was to find your own destiny and the woes and struggles of growing up. It was like a Spider-Man coming to age movie almost. The big dilemma in this film is that the Spidey Squad believes that their life is predetermined ever since that first spider bite, and everything has to fall in place as has been canonically shown over and over again in their lives. Their story is essentially predetermined with little room for change. Meanwhile, Miles is very new to his powers, 1 year and 4 months, and he is still growing and evolving into his version of Spider-Man. Nothing's perfect, and his journey is bound to have many mistakes, but these mistakes that Miles would make are his own. It wasn't something that he was forced to do or let happen. Like the famous quote goes, with great powers comes great responsibilities. And in this movie, it kind of shows you that these responsibilities are kind of adultifying Miles. He's only 15 and he's like taking on the world. It's kind of crazy. In the movie, we get to see more of Miles and Gwen's relationship. It was very nice to see a bit more of Gwen's universe this time, because the first movie, she kind of just entered Miles rather than we actually get to see what's going on in there. From what I picked up, in her universe, she was the one who got the powers. And she had a Peter Parker, but he was like just a friend. And then I guess as she's being like the super person, Peter just used science to try to figure his own way to be special like her, which led to him being transformed to a beast and not ending so well. I feel like she really longs for peace and belonging. She said ever since she lost Peter, Miles was the only other friend that she had, and he's in a whole other universe. She can't talk to anyone about her secret identity. She can't even talk to her own dad, who is like hunting her this whole time, and he doesn't even know. Gwen's father thinks that Spider-Woman's the one who killed Peter, which I mean, essentially, yes, but it's a bit more complicated than that. Spoiler alert. There's a scene where she's cornered by her dad, and in the midst of it, she kind of like takes off her mask. She's like, "Dad, it's me." He actually had the chance to kind of choose between the badge and his role as a dad, and he was just like, "You have the right to remain silent." Anything. He was just like, whoa. He chose the badge over his daughter. It's crazy. Seeing a bit more of Gwen Stacy makes me appreciate her swing style a little bit more. The elegance and smoothness of her swings kind of just matches her ballet background. I thought that was very cool. So Gwen's overall story felt like she was being mentally and physically tortured the whole time. But it's actually a nice take to see all the different origins of the Spider people. But one thing they have in common is very depressing, and it's not as easy as their comic relief makes it look. I can relate. Next Spider-Person we see that's very prominent in the movie is 2099. This is Miguel O'Hara. He's like a vampire spider Batman with like Big Brother and all. Like the camera's looking at everyone's movements. He's been holding the Spider-Verse together, even in our universe where we have Tom Holland and the multiverse thing with Doctor Strange. Like, he was talking about how he was cleaning that up. He's cleaning this up. He's cleaning the last multiverse movie up. Viewers who are watching are anticipating watching this movie. That fight scene between Miles and 2099. Ooh, those words are just like, I'm telling you, the scene gave me Invincible vibes again. We also have Spider-Woman Jess, who is the backup for 2099 in their first fight scene in the beginning. She's actually pregnant. That's a nice touch. And I liked how, despite her being a soon-to-be mother, they didn't make her, like, soft and, like, oh, she's obviously gonna be the one coddling everyone. She's a mom. What else is she meant to do? She was kind of just like, I told you how it is. Shit ain't sweet, you know? I gave you a chance, multiple chances, told you to fix your act, and you didn't, so you gotta go. She's very cold, direct, and her loyalty lies with Spidey Squad. There's also Spider-Punk. He is another Black Spider-Man, but this time we got a British twist, and this Spider-Punk laughs in the face of authority. He only saves the world because he wants to, not because you told him to. I loved his character design. He was a very good disruptor. Like, a normal conversation will be happening, almost quote-unquote predictable, and he'll just be like, no, just because everything seemed like it was going this way, and I needed to be the force to go the other way. In the movie, 2099 kind of reveals the big elephant in the room, which is Miles' whole origin story. It was the way it was delivered and like punched into him. I would have quit. I would have thrown up. It was just so strong. Another spoiler alert if you care. The spider that bit Miles in his universe was actually from another universe. Because that spider gave the powers to Miles, there is a world that does not have a Peter Parker, a Spider-Man. So the whole time, Miles is wondering, like, I'm cool, like, what's going on? Why can't I join? There's also a new Indian Spider-Man called Paviter, and he's been doing it for like 7 months. He's like, that dude's been doing it for 7 months. I've been doing it for 1 year and 4 months. How come I can't be part of it? And it's because he doesn't belong. You don't belong here. You're a mistake. You're an accident. You're the original anomaly. Crazy. And the whole time his mom put into his head, like, we raised you. We're trying to do stuff in your best interest. We may not always get it right, but we're Team Miles. Are they Team Miles? And it's just revealed that it was never Team Miles. Granted, they're all spider people, but they have to make certain decisions that may not align with individual people's goals. So in this case, like, Miles is still growing. He wants to continue. He wants his family. He wants, like, his love life. That's not gonna happen under these people. So now it's time for Miles to take his own power in his own hands and creates his own destiny. I felt like you kind of saw where everyone stood on a spectrum wise, where you had like all the way in like, who cares about whatever anyone else thinks, and that will be like Spider-Punk. Then we kind of get more Miles. Right in the middle we have the Jess and the Spider-Gwens, and then we have the 2099s ready to do that chaotic good that he believes is needed. For Spider-Gwen, it's interesting to see how she played a role in this. Because on one hand, in her universe, she's literally about to be sent off to prison. Her dad found out. He went against her, so she just believes that, like, there's no turning back from this. I already took off my mask. The last time she saw her dad, he was pretty much like, come here, daughter, and we put the cuffs on you. In her head, this is a new family. This is a new chance to restart. They're telling me I can be part of something bigger. Kind of like cult vibes, where you're down in your luck and some random person saying, like, you matter and you belong to this bigger picture. This looks like the case for her. Despite getting that freedom and family that she wanted, she's turning her back against her morals, her love, her friends, her true friends. She was even, like, settled with the fact that her dad is gonna die. Like, for the other Spider-Men, it kind of just happened to them. Like, these things happened, and then they were recruited. This hadn't happened yet. She kind of just messed up her universe and was adopted in. So to kind of accept that reality that, oh, this is just how it is, can't do anything about it, sorry. That scene alone where Miles is just like, is this an intervention? Let me go home. And it kind of reminded me of Get Out, in the scene where she was just like, Rose, give me the keys, Rose. Rose, give me the keys. And she was just like, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Like, Paviter was so cool. I loved, like, the India-inspired Spider-Man world. His costume design, his weapons, his hair, everything was just so cool. I'm so impressed with, like, how each spider person was just uniquely cool. It's time to talk about the big bad. So, in my head, I thought the big bad was going to be more 2099. In the commercial, it seemed like he was the one really charging after Miles and like yelling at him. But as I'm watching the movie, you really cannot tell like how that is going to play out. Literally, you're not going to tell. The big bad of this movie is the Spot. When we first introduced to him, he's literally stealing an ATM from a gas station. Miles called him Criminal of the Week. That's what he was giving at that moment. But when we dived a bit more into who the Spot was, this storyline just seemed like it was inevitable. The Spot knows that the spider that bit Miles was from a different universe. When they came back and did the scene with the collider exploding, the Spot was there. And he got fused with one of his little machines that he was working on, his science experiment. And now he can, like, put wormholes everywhere and, like, teleport. Adds to a very interesting fight scene where you're trying to punch someone and your fist goes through one hole and then it punches you from another hole. Very cool. But the Spot was basically saying, because of Miles Morales, because he became this, it took everything from him. While it may be cool to fight with, the holes and everything, it's not cool to do your job. It's not cool to go on a date. These things, the little things, it ruined his life, essentially. So the Spot's goal is to just take everything from Miles Morales. Honestly, the way he was moving, it was nothing that was going to stop him. I'm very interested to see how this cleans up in, the next movie. The Spot's Criminal of the Week turned supervillain plotline kind of reminded me of Syndrome from The Incredibles. Remember The Incredibles? So Syndrome in that movie, he started off as a kid, right? He was a big fan of Mr. Incredible, and then one day he gets turned down from him. He takes his rejection into a personality trait and created his own supervillain setup, his little supervillain gig, so he was able to fight the Incredibles. This seemed like that situation. The Spot kept calling him his nemesis, and having that backstory, I would want to fight Miles too. So we got Spidey Squad on one side, we have Spider-Gwen and Miles and everyone's trying to build one team, and we have the Spot. We got 3 separate teams all kind of going against each other and going against themselves. And then as we're about to get it, we got the gang together, we got Squad together, and to be continued. As you can imagine, there is plenty of Spider-Man memes and puns and gags. For example, there is one situation where the villain enters the Lego universe and Lego Spider-Man calls up 2099. He's just like, yo, we caught an anomaly. And he's like, you're the best one yet. Lego Spider-Man really out here doing the work. They did the ultimate Spider-Man point meme. It's like, get Spider-Man! And they all started pointing at each other. But yeah, that was the end of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Thank you so much for watching this video. And follow the social media to check out all the new videos that we're going to be doing. And all the new cosplay I'm going to be doing for SuperCon. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace!